Hello everyone, welcome back to part 2 of a replay between WhiteRa and Tarson here on Desert Oasis. Now, first of all, I have to apologize. My original encoding of this video got corrupted, so if I feel a little bit out of place, it's because I do not know what's happening right now. I'm kind of jumping back into the middle of this game. One of the problems with this little timer is the timer blockers. I can't figure out where I left off in the middle of the game, so I'm going to go ahead and just try to start up the game. I was talking about how the Protoss is a very imaginative race, and what I mean by that is a lot of the Protoss army has the ability to physically move and manipulate units. Sentries with force fields, Phoenix with graviton beams, they're able to do a lot with those units and perhaps try to mix up the armies. Now coming in, Tarson is already doing a quick drop with these Marines and these Marauders. There's a single Void Ray trying to push these units back, and now more Void Rays coming in as well. We'll see how this is going to be used. There is a Viking, however, and that Viking is going to once again try to pull away, trying to get a couple quick shots off the graviton beam. Or no, now the Phoenix is trying to take down those Medevacs. Medevacs taking a couple quick hits. Phoenix should try to take down that last Viking. Viking quickly getting taken down with those Void Rays. With that prismatic core, able to shoot down those units fairly easily. A couple Marines now coming in as well, but without the rest of those Marines, with those Marines and the new upgrades to those Void Rays, now dealing a base damage of 5 as opposed to just a base damage of 2. Against light units, those Void Rays are a much stronger counter. Those Marauders moving very slowly, so those Void Rays are able to continue to deal damage, now using that stim pack in order to increase their movement speed in order to pull away. Void Rays, however, catching a couple slow Marauders, and those units once again being stemmed away in order to pull back. We have an army of Zealots and Sentries now moving in from the left-hand side over, gonna come down from the 9 o'clock position to perhaps try to take down the main expansion. Marauders now taking a fair amount of damage as those Marines trying to do some engagement. WhiteRa able to pull away one of those lower hit point Void Rays. However, Vikings now in that engagement, and 2 full hit point Vikings are gonna make short work of 3 low hit point Void Rays, and Tarson really getting the upper hand on that fight. Vikings, however, one of those Vikings need to be repaired, perhaps a couple SCVs, or even a mule to be called down. Yeah, 3 SCVs being called down. A little trick that I've been trying to experiment with recently is using mules as global repair units. You can call down a mule anywhere, and they last a fair amount of time. So if you can call down a mule and then have it repair units in the middle of the battlefield, that's very strong. Coming back in, we have those Marauders doing a little bit of engagement, and now in comes some force fields. Those force fields are well placed, however, Terran units are not, because these are all ranged units, as opposed to a Zerg army with roaches and Zerglings, that is not going to be nearly as effective. The range of 6 on these Marauders and these Vikings pretty much make force fields mute in this whole entire matchup, especially when Zealots need to get within melee range in order to deal damage towards those units. So I think those force fields actually hurt WhiteRa instead of hurting Tarson. Once again, the Stargate warping into some additional units or activating for more units, now getting that Vespene Geyser back up. One of the things I like about the Stargate is you can kind of see what unit is being built as it's coming through that Stargate. So one of those cool things, yeah, that Void Ray now coming into this realm over here. We have Tarson grabbing the high yield mineral location, and Tarson sitting on 1,500 minerals a minute versus WhiteRa's 1,100. So the economy game goes to Tarson. However, in comes a probe. What will the probe see? The probe will not be able to activate that Xel'Naga watchtower, so does not see the command center over there at that high yield mineral location at the 9 o'clock position. Meanwhile, SCV and probes standing by the Xel'Naga watchtower, that probe once again being pulled away. So WhiteRa a little bit behind in terms of trying to get expansion, trying to get this macro game up. Tarson has the larger army. WhiteRa is sitting at a 1950, so WhiteRa has pretty much been out microwing and making better use of his army. However, Tarson has consistently had a better army, and with a couple consistent, well-placed drops, been able to fend off this whole entire attack. High Templars now in as well. We'll see what those High Templars are going to be used for. No Psy Storm just quite yet, so perhaps a couple feedbacks in position. Vikings now coming in, and will those Vikings engage on those Void Rays? Wow, 2 of those volleys from those Vikings quickly taking down one of those units. 28 damage times 5 is what, 140, so 140 damage times 280, quickly being able to take down this Void Ray that only has 250 hit points combined between that shield and that armor. Stalker's now coming in, able to get a couple quick hits on that Viking. One of those Vikings low on hit points. I really like using mules for cooldown just because it saves. I don't know if it's really worth 280 minerals, but by the time you get hit to this portion of the game, you don't really need the additional minerals nearly as much. Tarson also getting a couple ghosts, so 3 ghosts now out. So those 3 ghosts will be able to get a couple effective EMP shockwave outs. However, if the High Templar are able to get that feedback down, Psystorm has now finished being researched, most likely with a chrono boost from that Templar archives, also getting the additional amulet in order to be able to warp in High Templars with 75 energy as opposed to 50, making it so that you can essentially deploy a High Templar anywhere and immediately cast the Psystorm 5 units of time later. Ooh, nice feedback on that medevac. Medevac down to 3 hit points, and however not enough to completely kill that. If that medevac just had a little bit more hit points, that would have been absolutely huge. The medevac picking up 2 ghosts, and those 2 ghosts, gonna be dropped onto that high ledge. WhiteRa does not have any sight onto that high edge, so does not see those ghosts. Those ghosts are gonna EMP shockwave, reducing all the shields from all of those units there. And a very nice play by Tarson. Tarson making it so that those ghosts are quickly getting taken down. But medevac has plenty of energy, and now those ghosts just continue to Psystorm and continue to dish out a ton of energy. One of those medevacs though still in position, getting focused down though, and if he's not careful, Tarson gonna lose that ghost. Quick losing those 2 ghosts. I don't know if WhiteRa realized that that medevac was holding those ghosts, but it's really gonna change the game a lot. WhiteRa now coming in, does not have enough energy for Psystorm, and WhiteRa says GG. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay here on Desert Oasis.